Welcome to part 7 of my updated summary and strategy document. You can find this document very soon in the public document file. We're reading on page 14 and we're down where you have the numbers at the bottom. We are on number 2. We'll change this document slightly, but you'll still be able to understand where we are. So page 14, 2/3 of the way down, and number 2 there. So we mentioned JV Energen. And the removal of the word Russia from a company called Generation Europe Foundation on the 22nd of March 2023. This is very significant. This is as I'm exposing the fraud. On the 13th of November 2023, the daughter of Vladimir Putin's opposition was added to this company as a director, the New Generation Europe Foundation, in an apparent attempt to distance a connection to Vladimir Putin and all of this. This company, New Generation Europe, was also started with Swift Incorporations and Jordans Limited, the same companies that started Export Manor Freehold Limited. Also very significant, these are just some of the examples. On the 23rd of November 2022, the word Russia was removed from the company name, which is now trading as JP Morgan Emerging Europe Middle East and Africa Securities PLC. So they removed the word Russia as I was reporting this fraud and making all of my inquiries. That is despite it having been in the company name since 2006. They'd also, when you look at that company, removed the word Fleming at an earlier date from that company to try and remove the Fleming connection through to it. Reading on. In general, numerous reports have been made by myself to Action Fraud, Dorset Police, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the Serious Fraud Office, the Home Office, and the Home Secretary, as well as not just Dorset Police, but numerous police forces around the country, in relation to the child trafficking and the threat of directed energy, and there has not been one response in relation to that evidence, and it is overwhelming evidence. The only time that I received a response after that was from somebody within Dorset Police, as I've already said earlier, asking me to please stop mentioning somebody within Export Manor Freehold Limited. Unreal, specific person. With all of this evidence, I feel that it is unlikely that anyone in power can be trusted until they publicly expose the truth of this system and commit to measures that I'm going to propose now to help prevent this from ever continuing in future. Number 1, I believe there must be a transparent tax. Now, a lot of people are saying taxation isn't even lawful. I think we need something to stabilise everything first of all. So these are the proposals, I think, to get people on board to stabilise the economy and society. So a transparent taxation system at the source of payments where the masses can audit the government bank accounts themselves by viewing the periodic collective income of tax, contributions and reference expenditures as to where that money is being spent. Okay, this should include the ability to view the nation's available excess funds that should be maintained through a fluctuating taxation request system. Number 2, there must be, I believe, full verification of anyone and any addresses involved in new and existing company incorporations to ensure that there is full accountability and liability to minimise the chance of any criminal activity and tax contributions being used towards the suffering of anyone. Number 3, strict legislation with severe punishment to prevent anyone in possession of authority from making decisions for their own or affiliated reasons. The people must be assured that the decisions being made are for the benefit of the masses and the environment. This has not appeared to have been happening, with this only benefiting a few, but it's through a system of crime. You can't do it, okay? This is undoubtedly the reason for austerity. Number 4, an assurance there will be no further move to full digital currency control, and to ensure that there is the ability to peacefully protest against any corrupt policies, government policies, by withholding tax contributions and still having the ability to survive by making other forms of simple payments in the event of a freeze of digital funds. This is essential. Number 5, a transparent financial system in the management of real estate to prevent leaseholders and innocent shareholders from, and people that are renting, okay, tenants, because this has a knock-on effect, from being exploited or defrauded in relation to real estate. This should include leaseholders being able to view the collective income of service charge contributions and referenced expenditures, as well as the availability of a suitably signed contract or management agreement in relation to the management of that building, and the ability for leaseholders to obtain comparable quotations for the services of the estate that it relates to. Number 6, we can't trust these people, so there needs to be staged resignation of all politicians and their advisors, legal teams, chief of police, police and crime commissioners, and heads of government organisations who have been in a position to address this criminal system since it was identified and have not done so and not already resigned. The public will not trust them again. Number 7, there should be the immediate removal of any harmful mobile communication systems that do not have strict and suitable liability and accountability in place, and a commitment to never install such potentially harmful technology again. You can't use sinister means of depopulation. If you're worried about the population, if that ever becomes a problem, then it needs to be done through transparency and staged incentivized choice to manage the population. Okay, it can be done through transparency. It doesn't have to be through deception and criminality. Okay, I think I mentioned earlier that Census, who shows the figures of the world's population, certainly to the UK, are corrupted. They're compromised by this fraud. They've got everything corrupted by this fraud. Literally, it's fully centralized and controlled by this fraud. Criminality, don't forget. Number 8, there needs to, this is a difficult one, but there needs to be suitable compensation for the people that have been defrauded by this system, and in particular those who have struggled the most as a result of it. Now, this will cause huge issues, because people will be wanting to spend the compensation in materialistic ways, which again has a knock-on effect. But there must be some sort of compensation, and it will be trillions in the scale of things. Okay, this will be worth trillions in criminally obtained money. Number 9. This is a very difficult one, but this is what the people are going to want: a public trial for those that have been instrumental in allowing this system of fraud and its sinister activities to have continued for so long. I think to be prosecuting anyone involved is going to be impossible. So many people have jumped on the bandwagon for this, but those that have been instrumental in allowing it, there must be some consequences for those individuals. There must be. Once these or similar measures are implemented to stabilise infrastructure in the economy, and to enable a determination of the true funds required to suitably support a healthy society, further strategies can be considered and implemented to ensure that truth, transparency and trust in any management of the masses through incentivised periodic choice and as a long-term strategy can take place. So what can we all do as individuals? Well, the overriding strategy, I think, needs to be peaceful non-compliance to compel an essential change in the system to bring back truth, transparency and trust, and a suitable system put in place that will eliminate the chance of sinister motives of potential leaders. Okay, we're going to do part 8 for the next part.